You pulled it off, man.
I did it. That's what my daughter does all the time. I did it.
If Ratt is missing a guitarist, you could just join their tour.
Jump in.
Something, you know.
Wig on.
So if you're curious what that was Ratt's I Want a Woman. And so that was our mentality back then when we were like 12 years old, right? When the song first came out.
Side B, song 8.
Yeah.
There you go.
No. Maybe no. This is about the right time. 1988 is when this song came out on the album called "Reach for the Sky," and it also included really, really cool two other really cool tunes. "Way Cool Junior," and then what's the other one? There's another one that's really cool. Well, "I Want a Woman" is really cool. And then Chain Reaction is pretty cool. But for the most part, Ratt songs sound pretty much the same except for a few outliers. But I actually saw them live.
Wow.
This weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
It helps when all your songs sound the same. It's like if you forget your part when you're on the tour, you can just, don't worry, it's the same as that other song. It's okay.
Sounds like Way Cool Junior. Way Cool Junior, same song.
No. That one, check it out. It's got some really cool blues licks in it. It's different. It's not your typical round. Well, Round and Round was different. But yeah, Out of the Cellar, about 80% of the songs sounded the same. They're like filler tunes. Yeah. Wow. Vixen. Do you guys remember Vixen?
Do not.
No. They were like one of the very few heavy metal female bands. Lita Ford was the other one, right? But then Lita Ford was really a solo artist.
Lita Ford.
Yes.
Yeah. Remember all the heavy metal dudes were all in love with her. So she had a captive.
What about? Oh my gosh!
But she also happened to be a really. You're in the digital divide, man.
Wow.
You remember came out of Minneapolis. Vixen came out of Minneapolis in 1973. For those querying Google like I am, that's what.
Wow.
But none of the original band members are in Vixen in its current rendition or its incarnation. So, but check them out. Wow, they are really good.
Speaking of them or Lita Ford, remember? What was the name? I've already forgotten it.
With Ozzy Osbourne?
No, well, I remember that song. That was a good one. What was the other woman who was it Dana? I can't remember. Hang on. All I know is she was a metal rocker, and it turns out her background is she was a background singer early on for Michael Jackson.
Oh,
Taylor Dane.
Taylor Dane?
Remember Taylor Dane? She was a rocker, but she got her start as a background singer for Michael Jackson.
Really?
Yeah.
I just saw her on Apple TV Plus special. There's like a whole series of K-pop, and she's one of the performers that has her tune K-popified, if that's even a word. And she killed it, man. Oh, you should watch that too, because she can still sing. I mean,
that's great.
Really, really well. You know what I'm saying? Like Aretha Franklin kind of well.
You better think.
Yeah. So
K-pop, I heard that the #1 all-time show streaming on Netflix or whatever was like some kind of K-pop demon hunter show or something like that. Like for real, like it's #1 all time.
Really?
And so I guess I'm gonna have to check it out.
You know what? We're gonna have to just simply succumb to the forces of K-pop.
I think so.
There's no way of avoiding it. I know that Stephanie is not a big fan, or at least she's not a fan of BTS. But yeah, it's like one of those things. It's like AI, right? It
I agree.
Kind of sneaked up on you, and next thing you know, it's like the biggest thing in the world. So,
and I have to admit, doing the duet or whatever you want to call it, a collab with BTS on the Coldplay's last album is the only thing that saved them. The only good song on the record was the collab they did with BTS. So sometimes you gotta, as Clint Eastwood would often tell us, a man's got to know his limitations.
That's true.
I guess the next thing after K-pop would be NK pop, which is the North Korean version. So I don't know what
that's when you're in prison in North Korea, and you have to listen to NK pop all day.
On the Ukraine front.
I don't know. Yeah, you know what? Actually, that might happen, Pete, because you know what? For a while, what the South Koreans were doing was they were weaponizing K-pop. They were like tossing K-pop. They were playing K-pop.
Blasting it.
Yeah, blasting it, and then throwing a bunch of like K-pop star posters. Like these scantily clad girls and that look like Sailor Moon. And these boys who look like, they have way too much makeup on, and are way too pretty. Yeah, they were chucking all that stuff over.
You need a counteroffensive.
Yeah,
exactly.
So, some of the most potent weaponry doesn't explode or pierce your body in any way. Yeah, it just
all
messes with your mind, and next thing you know, everyone's trying to sneak over the border. So
that's right.
Trying to make their way through the minefield. Making
a run for the border, it takes on a new meaning, Exactly.
Oh, God. Okay.
So my big question is, what the heck's going on out here? I'm on the 5 driving south. I'm north of Sacramento. Why is everyone driving so slow? I thought I was in California. Everybody should be going 85 or 90. What's going on?
Speed traps you don't know about.
I don't know.
Maybe Ponch and John are out here somewhere on their motorcycles waiting to get us. So watch out.
And for those you boys and girls out there that don't know what the hell he's talking about, that's CHIPS.
CHIPS?
California Highway Patrol.
Yeah.
What the I stands for? Did they just like toss that in?
They needed a vowel.
HI, so
HI. Hi.
I'd like to buy a vowel. Yes. Chips. Yeah. You mean young people don't know about that heartthrob, Eric Estrada? What?
I think they forgot. Yeah.
They forgot. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are driving slow. I'm literally going 67 in traffic on the 5. In the middle of nowhere. What's wrong with you people?
Oh, gosh. Well, they must rage drive in the Northwest.
They don't.
Quite frustrated.
Northwest is like passive, super passive.
They're passive. They're very. Yep, that's right. Yep.
Okay.
Four-way stop of you go, no, you go, no, you go.
No, you go. No, you go.
No, you go. I'll wait. You go.
Oh wait, no, you go. The only place someone from the Northwest rages is from behind a keyboard. That's it, though.
I tax too high.
Dang you! Why is the gasoline $5 a gallon? Oh.
It is super expensive gas. I mean,
it sure is. It sure is.
Buy an EV. Stop complaining.
So
the electricity is cheap. The gas is expensive, but the electricity is cheap. So
that's right.
Well, you have no air conditioning, so
it's a hydro wonderland in Washington State.
Wonderland.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
that's why people like to build their data centers up there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, at this point, we have to probably inform our remaining audience.
Yeah.
This is IoT Coffee
Talk.
Both of them. Oh, my God.
Take us seriously at your own peril. We're only here to have fun. So, if you're doing anything serious, making any serious decisions based off of anything that we are sharing here, that's your own fault. So
terrible mistake.
You take full liability. In fact, we encourage people to take out full insurance policy when they listen to our show. So, but we nonetheless appreciate your listenership as well as your viewership. So, Yeah. And so we have Rob obviously driving, and it's also obvious you don't have an autonomous vehicle. Especially given all the... Yeah.
He's definitely not autonomous. Is it an EV at least, or is it this is all combustion stuff?
It's all combustion.
Yeah,
as soon as I get
gas prices.
As soon as I get to SoCal, I'm going to take it to the West Coast guy. What are those guys? Remember that show where they modify all the cars?
Yeah.
Pimp My Ride.
Pimp My Ride? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, West Coast Auto guys. I'm going to take there.
Pounds Customs.
Yes. And they're going to turn my car into autonomous, so I'll be able to sleep. So that's good. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That. Yeah, and get some
tell you a
flames.
Story about I did a full self-driving trip. Some friends, we went from Seattle, or Bellevue, I should say, down to Beaverton, Oregon. It was like a 3 or 4 hour trip.
Oh, wow.
I had a Tesla, I think it was a Model Y, so it was a nice one. And he's all into the full self-driving. He's like, yeah, I'm going to do full self-driving the whole way. And I was like, and it worked great. And the funny thing is we were driving around Beaverton, full self-driving mode. We come up to this intersection. This is a stoplight. And the Tesla's like there, and it moves forward a little bit, and then it just goes right through the red light. Yeah. And I think what it was doing, it was looking for traffic. There was no traffic. And so it just went. And we were all looking at each other like, did we just go through a red light? Like that was,
it grokked you guys.
It was like, hey, nobody's around, no cops around. I can just go through this red light.
Oh, you just go for it. Yeah.
Wow. Other than that, it worked great. So that was pretty cool.
Oh my God.
Really cool. So
you are the beta tester.
That was definitely a beta. That was a file a bug on that one.
File a bug on that one. Exactly. Pro show.
Man. I'm actually in Massachusetts here. I've been here for a few weeks, and I have a Chevy Equinox EV. So I haven't bought gas in a few weeks. I went up to Maine for a few days, came back. I found a level 3 charger kind of on the way near a little coffee shop, and took me like 15, 20 minutes to fill up, and it was great. So I'm totally sold. I think the infrastructure, at least in Massachusetts, it looks like the infrastructure is great for charging and stuff from Massachusetts.
That's great.
So, yeah, it was really cool. And level 3 chargers are where it's at. I'm a big fan. And some of them, I think the one I was at yesterday was like 120 kilowatts per hour or something. I mean, it was chugging. So for those who don't know, a level 2 charge is probably about 6 to 10 kilowatts per hour.
Okay.
That's your house. That's like a 50.
Yeah.
But if you get into level 3 charging, which is DC, up in 100, 200 amp circuit, you're up to, I think they said it could go to 350.
350?
That's what it said on the thing. It said up to 350 kilowatts per hour. I don't know what cars are out there that can get, but now there's these 800 volt platforms as opposed to 400 volt. That's the next thing. So I think in the next couple of years, like this stuff is like, it's just going to be fantastic. So I've been told
fast charging.
Fast charging is like such a winner. And this was at a place that it sold gas. It had a row of Tesla and other kind of third-party fast chargers. And so you get your gas, you get your chips, you get your charging.
Yeah.
You're probably getting hot chips.
Hot chips.
That's right. Hot chips.
Yeah.
Hot chips.
Yeah. It's going to be
I was totally sold on it. So now the next thing is just getting more FSD, more full self-driving capabilities in there for these road trips. But I did a 4-hour road trip yesterday from Maine. It was fantastic. So
that's awesome.
Through Boston, came out.
So the Equinox did a good job?
It was awesome. Very nice.
Great.
Apparently not that expensive either, so I rented it. The other hack is you go to an Avis or something and you reserve a regular car and you go in there and you ask for any EVs that they have. And they always have like some premium EVs that no one is renting, right? Because people don't know how to rent an EV or know what to do with that. So you always get like the super double upgrade.
Oh, okay. Are you sure you want to tell people that?
Yes.
Yeah, well, both of our listeners.
I think both of them already know. Anybody who experienced travel through COVID and stuff and rented normal cars, and they were trying to foist EVs on you, and did 100,000 Teslas or something.
Yeah, Hertz bought a bunch of Teslas.
And then it turns out the renters were afraid, or they just didn't understand, or they didn't know what to do. And so they would be like, I don't think I want that. I don't know how to do this. I don't know where to find chargers, because it was new for them. And it didn't work out too well for them, Hertz, because they spent a lot of money on the future of driving.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are early. Sometimes the future actually does happen. You're just a little early.
Yeah. Well, the future
evenly distributed.
Future will happen. Right. The thing is, does it happen in the way that, like you said, timing is everything, right? And does it happen the way that people are claiming it will happen in the now, which is usually wrong.
Right.
And
for our two audience members, we all went through the .com thing, and then they said we were early, and there was the .com bust, and you thought it was a failure, but in the end, all those things ended up working out. They just
took 20 years.
It just by mid-early 2000s, things chilled out, and it turns out, you were right. It was just, I don't know. What did they say? It was Warren Buffett experience in the late 90s with the .com craze. The internet economy. Yes.
I
Anyway.
mean,
now they just call it the economy. It's not the internet economy anymore.
Yeah, it's just the economy. You're right.
Well, we have to.
I remember doing go ahead.
No. We have to just remember that there were two aspects, or actually, the whole .com boom and bust also had an internet boom and bust, right? And even though .com and internet, era are kind of clumped together, there was a dependency. There's a software and a hardware infrastructure dependency. They built out a lot of infrastructure, right? Tons of it. On the software level, there was a bunch of junk, right? I mean, even e-commerce back then was really weak, right? We had like pets.com. We had like, Webvan, all kinds of stuff.
Cosmo.
The business models were not flushed out. There were a lot of issues at the software and, the business application level. And then there was overspending on infrastructure. And you know what? That infrastructure sat there and it was sold at pennies at $1, right? And then it sat there, right? All this capacity. And over time, it got consumed. Right. But that infrastructure bubble is reflected in Cisco at the time. Right. They were the most valuable company in the world for a while. And then they crashed really hard.
Right.
Really hard. And nobody at the time thought that they would crash that hard. Yeah. And so that's the problem right now is with AI, we have the same problem. So you have to look at it in not just as a big clump, homogeneous clump. There's an infrastructure piece, and then there's the application or AI layer of the conversation. This part is actually sucking and looks very much like .com, right?
The software part.
The software part. The infrastructure stuff looks exactly like the infrastructure stuff that was happening during the internet.
Well, it's like even like telco, right? There's always an infrastructure build out. There's a huge capex.
Yeah,
it's underutilized. There's the leaders in that infrastructure take a bath. I mean, in the long run, it's needed. But think about .com era. How sucky were the browsers back then? Controls. I mean, it was a rough prehistoric web experience.
Oh, yeah. They didn't even have web services. The idea of web services, personalization was really clunky. Do you guys remember Broadvision, ATG?
Yes.
Right. Broadvision was kind of like Broadcom. They were like, they were the pioneers of personalization. They were the first company to come up with the quote unquote platform for personalizing a website, right? So the bits and pieces weren't there.
Yeah.
And so very nascent.
From a technical perspective, so you had as we went into the dark days, late 90s there, you had a lot of people who were using Windows NT 4 as their server, and they used IIS.
Yeah.
And many of them, I remember online jewelry company, they had to have a little agent that would reboot the server at midnight every night.
Yeah, well, that was the rebooting servers.
I remember
Everything needed to be rebooted every night. That's the thing. Everything.
Yeah, they had to be rebooted. Yeah, totally. It was
Had to
bad.
reboot your phone every
bad.
night.
I remember NT4 was NT4 was totally destabilized compared to 351, and the reason is because they put to try to get some more speed in the UI and the graphics engine of NT. They put the graphics stuff in ring 0 of the CPU, which is could be a bad juju talking about getting your blue screen to death, right? And so no bueno. And so I remember to stabilize NT4 boxes, I would just not install any graphics drivers and use the default VGA driver that came with the OS, because the graphics drivers were the most destabilizing thing running in ring 0. And if you have a fault in ring 0, the whole server goes down, right?
Right, and all the graphics drivers were third-party drivers that were hacked to beat the benchmarks, and so they were
my God, sounds
wildly unstable. Wildly unstable.
Totally unstable.
So
so it wasn't until Windows Server 2000 came out that all that changed, and Microsoft had the certification program and for all the drivers and everything, because it was giving Microsoft a bad name because the third-party graphics drivers were taking a toll on the servers and on workstations too that were blue screen all the time.
Oh my God, man!
Man.
So
then there was
what? Did you spot a deer or a raccoon?
No, I did. I spotted a deer. I'm slowing down here. I was going to say, on the other side, though, the other part of the .com thing was highly financed people in the Valley, and their VCs like Kleiner Perkins and so forth they would raise money, and then they'd say, "Now I need you to run down the street to Sun Microsystems and buy servers from Sun because they're the best." Like an E10K or something like that. Horribly expensive servers, just insanely expensive. But that was the thinking. And so that was going on. And then there was this little engine that called Linux. And somewhere along the way, people realized that, oh, wow, these Linux boxes to run my web server seem to work okay. I can't tell the difference between the Sun box and a cheap Linux box. Which led to that sad keynote address from Scott McNealy I saw at his last Java 1 conference after the .com crash had happened. And he made the comment, he goes, "You know what? Sometimes good enough is good enough." And what he meant by that was it turns out the cheap Linux boxes running on just commodity PC hardware were good enough for the internet.
Yeah.
And you didn't need the expensive Sun gear.
Nope.
Yeah. That's interesting, because if when you look at AI and its value, good enough is good enough. I just responded to this guy that was saying, well, in order to have generate poems or silly pictures with a generative AI tool, it needs to be reliable. I said, absolutely not. It just has to be good enough. There's and so where maybe some of the naysayers are going to overshoot is when the downside of the hype is when you don't consider the good enough, right? That there is value, especially in entertainment, cyber criminality, enabling that kind of stuff, or just entertainment, that good enough is good enough. I mean, the perfect proof is YouTube, right? And TikTok. None of that stuff is like pro level stuff. It's it's good enough. It's entertaining, and guess what? The technology gets traction for that purpose. And, same goes with hardware, right? Eventually, nobody's going to want to pay the NVIDIA premium. They want something that's good enough. It can run that model. It can do X, Y, Z. Yes, it might be a bit more expensive per token, but the folks at Edge AI are going to make it more economical, right? You guys are going to actually make FP4 non-bullshit.
What's FP4?
FP floating point 4.
Oh, which
right?
is better than floating point 3.
Well, that's like the big NVIDIA talking point, right? When you look at it, there's scaling curves that look like they're going, and when they say, hey, we generation over generation, we have times 30. They got to 30 because they multiplied by 4 or 16 to get there based on data precision. But the thing is one of the things that came out of hot chips was nobody talked about data precision this time, even though it's like one of the most important scaling factors, right? And everyone's talking about how FP4 is just crap. So NVIDIA came out with their own, own data type, which is NVFP4. I thought they were going to talk a lot about it. They didn't, which was a disappointment because it's essential. Otherwise, that scaling factor is gone, and the next generation is only going to get maybe 2 or 3 times more capable in terms of performance and efficiency, right? And all of a sudden, your scaling flattens out from the hardware perspective. So, it's important.
So what was the hottest news and takeaway from your hot event at Stanford?
Everything is moving toward networking and trying to figure out how to squeeze out the next few levels of scaling. So I think what we're going to see over the next year is that wall get hit really hard across the board, whether it's cooling, whether it's like Moore's law, advanced packaging, thermals, power management, all the stuff. The problem is that when they came up with these, the latest series of AI supercomputing machine, systems, they threw every technology available, a lot of them very mature, at these systems, right? And these architectures to get them to scale, brute force, right? Now you're hitting the maturity walls of all these technologies. I mean, take, water cooling, for instance, or liquid cooling. That technology has been around forever. Now you're already at the leading edge. You're having the leading edge discussions, and the benefits you'll get from the next generation of the technology is going to diminish significantly, right? So one of the things that they're looking at are optimizations with, like, for instance, cold plates. This has nothing to do with the chip, right? This has everything to do with creating a cold plate with these channels, right, that are optimized for the thermal characteristics of the package or the chip that it's cooling or it's transferring heat from.
Is that like Coldplay?
Yeah, like Coldplay. Yeah, okay. Like the BTS version of Coldplay. Yeah, slightly enhanced, right, like a little bit,
Or a lot of people, like, when they couldn't afford an oven or stove, they had a hot plate. But you're talking about a cold plate.
Cold plate. All right. Totally different.
Totally different.
Different than a hot plate.
Yeah.
All right. That's good to know. Yeah,
and just so that everyone knows, water-cooled systems, they were always recirculating the fluid, right? Has nothing to do necessarily with water. When you look at, because, Rob, you posted something about that recently, right? And there's some other analysts that have been, talking about how these AI data centers don't consume any water. Yeah, they actually do.
They do. It's a water war.
Yeah. Water.
Right. a particular analyst says, no, we're not wasting water with AI data centers. The mainstream media telling you lies. And I'm like, I don't know. I think it might be using more water. I don't know. It's just me. I keep, I asked Claude, and it says it's using between 5 and 50 times more water. The same unit of compute of a AI. Unit of compute needs way more water cooling than a standard CPU compute. Yeah.
And the rack cooling is just to get the heat out, right? Then you have to transfer the heat somewhere, and then it's going to usually go through a cooler to bring the liquid temperature down so that it can be recirculated, and then you have this continuous loop of cooling. The dynamics of that, the nuances of actually engineering a system that does that well is like freaking ridiculous, but it's mature technology, right? And obviously Google, I mean, here's one of the things that came out of Hot Chips, man. Google, all the hyperscalers have been working on this stuff for a long time. This is not new for them, right? So these liquid cooled systems, now the improvements that they're trying to make are going to be much more incremental. In fact, you might not even see too much benefit in terms of the system benefits, but you might see slight reliability and maintenance benefits, right? Because one of the problems with these novel, or I'm not going to call them novel, these liquid cooling systems, you get like shit growing in the fluids, and then they can actually block the flow of the coolant, and next thing you know, you have overheating elements in your trays as well as your racks. Then you have GPUs that fail, and then all this crazy stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Pass me a tissue, Tito.
I mean, if you ever have a chance to go to Hot Chips, go, because you really get the full view on how complex these systems are becoming. It's un-effing believable.
All right, we're about to have a big moment here on IoT Coffee Talk. We're about to announce the creation of one of the new jobs of the future, and the job is being created right now, live, for a giant audience.
Yeah. What is that?
Liquid cooled server plumbers.
Yes.
That's right.
A new kind of plumber for AI data centers. Your liquid piping got clogged, and you're going to need a roto-rooter guy to come save you.
Yeah.
There you go. New job creation.
One new job has been created.
Yeah.
In every pot. Yes.
And exterminator, exactly. Because you have all kinds of creepy crap like growing in those pipes. You need
creepy crap.
We're
the experts.
Dude,
by the way,
out of your servers.
As a context, each day AI data center is using hundreds of thousands of gallons per day of water. That's roughly, at least.
You have to evaporate that stuff, right?
Yeah, and of course, and the heat's going to evaporate it, so you're always bringing in new water per day. It's hundreds of 500,000 gallons a day per data center easily.
Yeah, you have the chiller, you have the evaporate, the cooling tower that evaporates everything.
Yeah,
and you're
by the way,
you're not going to do that with toxic material.
There's an interesting company in the UK called Deep Green, if you look them up, and they have built out like a heat exchanger technology to basically pull the heat out of data centers and use them for like heating apartment buildings and swimming pools.
Yeah,
so it's pretty cool. Now you can't do this to your like kind of typical Microsoft Azure data center, but for a lot of these things, and they have some actual deployments in the UK where they're heating like community swimming pools. They go in and like build a community swimming pool for free in exchange for them to like outfit these data centers with their heat exchanger technology. So you wouldn't be surprised, like your apartment buildings of the future might have a little mini data center on the back that's used for not only doing kind of AI compute, but also heating the building at the same time.
Dude, we already talked about how, these data centers to just open up a friggin' gym next to it and then plug all the exercise machines to
Wait a second.
generator.
I think something other magical is about to happen here on our show. Wait a second. Because you're right. I've heard about people saying, yes, that excess heat, we're heating homes and stuff like that. That's if you live in Norway or something like that, or Sweden,
or the
where
UK.
it's cold, or the UK. But wait for it. You said the word heat exchanger, reminded me of the heat exchangers we have in nuclear reactors. When you have the radioactive coolant that goes through a heat exchanger with a non-radioactive coolant, and then it turns to steam. What if all that hot water could be turned to steam from a data center, and then it spins something, magnets going around coils, and it creates new electricity?
Yeah.
And it becomes a power plant.
Oh my gosh.
Like a perpetual motion machine. You actually generate more energy than you're using, right?
Yes, absolutely. This is better than fusion. It just got created right here on the show.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're creating jobs and we're creating energy right now.
Yes. That's what we do on IoT Coffee Talk. Yeah. And we're also dispelling myths, right?
Yeah.
See?
Mythbusters.
Yeah, we're creating some new myths and busting some old myths.
So, all right, but back to the water usage, like the 100,000 gallons a day.
Half a million gallons a day per data center.
Is that new water or is it recirculated water?
That's new water.
New water.
Brand new water. Okay.
New water.
So, unnamed analyst who says, no, we're just recirculating it over and over again is wrong. It's new water.
There's an opportunity to be educated.
And plus, it's not even water. It's coolant. It's usually...
Yeah, it's not drinkable water. You can't like that. There's no bubbler where you can drink the...
Yeah. It's either a dielectric fluid, electric fluid, or it's water treated with like chemical. It's not stuff that you should be dumping into like a river or anything like that.
You want to mitigate this. You want to mitigate the evaporation. Right.
Yeah.
And all that other stuff. And also minimize, like you said, the buildup of organisms and other things.
Yeah.
Definitely not good water to drink.
So this would not be under the category of potent potables for 200. Never mind.
Potables. It would be a potent potable for sure.
Yeah. Again, there's a difference between rack cooling and then the whole data center system.
The whole building. And then there's on a per rack basis. And then the top of the rack, there's a thing up there that's pulling the heat, And then lots of different levels of cooling. And that, by the way, Rob, to your point about new engineers, people are looking at fields to go into, study your thermodynamics in school, folks. Don't skip that class and become like a technician or an engineer around thermals.
Yeah. Oh, and here's another thing that I keep hearing from folks, and I've actually had some, folks at conferences come up to me and ask me, so what are your thoughts on jobs of the future? I have a daughter who's going to Stanford or Berkeley, and they don't think that there's a future in STEM, and so they're looking to do XYZ stuff. And I told them, no, there's a future in STEM, and I think it's very toxic for people to dissuade, the next generation from pursuing, careers, education in STEM, because it is going to be essential. We're going to need more people that actually know how all this stuff works, not fewer. And the thing is, China is definitely not dissuading anyone from getting into STEM. And we already have like this divide, right? China's already ahead. They're better at math. They're better at a lot of stuff on the education front. Last thing we need is like all these like AI yahoos telling everyone's job is dead, and that we don't need coders. We don't need CS folks. We don't need anybody that hypothetically AI will quote unquote somehow magically replace.
Yeah, no, I think it's true. I mean, I think there's going to be, though, a class of these jobs, like especially like kind of early in career coding jobs and things like that. And, maintenance and bug fixing and stuff. A lot of that's going to get automated. And so by definition, you probably need fewer of those types of folks. But, a lot of the architecture and design and, like you said, how it works, all that stuff still needs to happen. And then how the stuff is applied. Like there's the development of AI and then there's the application.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the applied AI is kind of like the new frontier. Like there's lots of people developing it, but how is it applied? And that's, I think, a huge opportunity for people that want to be in STEM. By the way, we still need lots of people to do the trades. We need lots of people to work with other people that work with humans, social work jobs and other, support jobs and therapy jobs. And I would say shout out to the artists and the creators and the writers out there too. So
yeah,
there's plenty of opportunity out there.
You're right.
Everyone will find their level in one form or another. So
yeah, they'll figure it out.
Figure it out.
Do we think it's time to stop telling kids to go to those boot camp things?
No, keep going. Go and
if your kid wants to go, you should send them to go. Yes,
build stuff.
Your job.
And if they want to go to space camp, you should send them to space camp. And if they want to go
space camp, is a good idea.
And art camp and jewelry camp, they should go to art camp.
I mean, using AI as an excuse not to, not to support your child's, interest is, I think, not a good really, idea. Really bad.
No.
Not true.
And the AI doesn't all of a sudden mean that you don't have to, you don't have to invest in the development of your kids as humans.
Yeah, no.
So I guess kind of
like what's wrong with people? Why do they think that somehow AI is support your friggin' kids and let them grow and develop.
Let them grow.
It could be a doctor or a lawyer. There's plenty of options.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, did you guys all check out the videos about the humanoid Olympics in China? Have you talked about that?
Oh, no.
You haven't seen
videos, but I recently saw a video of a robot threatening some dude on a scooter, and then the robots, freaked the guy out. The guy jumped off his scooter, and then the robot started punching the scooter.
Well, the humanoid Olympics, the story of the humanoid Olympics, there was some run rate, like a 1,500 kilometer or whatever, and I guess one of the robots fell down while it was running, and then it lost an arm. An arm came off. It righted itself and kept running, and it had like wires hanging off of it. And the crowd was like cheering on this robot, this one-armed robot that was like trying to finish the race, kind of like wobbling toward the finish line. And so I think, we're going to have LA in 2028, but I think, 2032 or whatever, like, let's get the humanoids in there. I would pay.
Oh, the humanity.
Oh, the humanity. But, cheering on the underdog robots with the wires out of them. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. I think if the android is like Data on Star Trek Next Generation, then people will be okay with it.
Yeah.
Because everybody loves Data. Everybody loved Data,
right. That's right.
Even without the emotion chip.
But I think cheering on humanoid robot sport exhibits,
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a thing, man. We're going to see humanoids playing humanoids. We'll cheer them on. NFL in 100 years will be all humanoid robot based. No one will get CTE anymore. And we can just cheer them on and they can just run into each other and nobody gets hurt. I think it's fantastic.
There you go. Boom.
Humanoid robots. Look up the humanoid robot Olympics on YouTube, and
it's kind of like freakazoid robots.
That would be a better marketing name, Freakazoid Robot Olympics.
Well, they have we've had like the Robot Wars thingy for
those things that this is
BattleBots.
Yeah, BattleBots. There you go.
BattleBots are fun. Yeah.
But it'll be interesting.
These are like track and field robots. These are like,
Yeah.
But isn't it kind of silly?
I want to see a robot throw the javelin.
like 2 miles.
Or a shot putter, like the friggin' camera.
Show it out of
the
stadium. Yeah.
Cross out of the stadium and some unsuspecting pedestrian just gets stabbed. Oh my God. I love that. Yeah. So I guess in the same vein that just because Deep Blue beat Gary Kasparov at chess doesn't mean people quit playing chess.
That's true.
So don't keep doing what you love, people.
Yeah. I mean, you know,
the shot put. You keep doing your shot put.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Is a lot of this ends up being just kind of like niche interest after a while, right? After novelty wears off. But yeah, humans still need to do stuff. We need purpose. We need to strive for achievement, and you know, it's just weird that we seem to discount that in the tech bro universe or the tech universe that we're in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's a lot of people who subscribe to this stuff that, oh yeah, you know, we're going to have no purpose. There's going to be abundance. So you don't have to do shit. You just, you know, go fishing. It's like
fishing. But you know what? They're still going to need these AI plumbers in our Logan's Run future. So, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
and there's a science
to make all the purpose.
You have to implant the
all the purpose you can get
in the hand. You know.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Oh, my little white thing on the hand turned red. It's today my last day.
That's right. He's a runner.
Oh, runner. He's a runner. Just turned 30. Get him. Yep.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh
yes,
my God.
no shortage of things. Yes. But you know, there's always been that. This is always I mean, Leonard, you have young kids, but the thing about kind of guessing about careers and what are my kids studying and are they going to get a job? This has been this has been since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Back in the agrarian age, they're like, you know, will Jethro be a good farmer or what's happening? You know, so
right.
It's always a thing.
Yeah. And you know what? The funny thing is that the thing that people think is the biggest thing in the world ends up becoming the thing everyone gets laid off from within 2-3 years. I mean,
plastics. I have one word for you.
Plastics. Yep. Plastics.
What?
Right.
Do you remember that at The Graduate? The movie The Graduate? Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's right.
The guy pulls him aside and he's like, I have one word for you, plastics.
Plastics. I mean, that's like that's a most memorable moment and quote in movie history. It was plastics.
Yeah. But think about it. That's a pretty profound statement for the time, right? Because chemical engineering, like huge, because the petrol industry
wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong.
Yeah, no, he wasn't wrong at all. Yeah. And look at all the microplastic.
Yeah, now it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's infiltrated our body now, and continues to advance our cognitive decline. Yeah, so it's wonderful.
Yeah, all the top VCs were investing in plastic startups in the 60s.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think they had VCs back then. Did they have
plastic unicorn?
Plastic unicorn. Yeah. Well, you know. Oh, okay. So this is a funny thing. You know how like Anthropic got like a new infusion of funding, which is ridiculous. It's like, why do you get excited over funding? It's like, where's the profit, right? But somehow, because they got the funding, the valuation of the company has gone up like whatever ×3.
Sure.
Yeah, but no one asked, how did you come up with that number? Nobody asked that. It's like weird. Everyone just believes that this company is worth X, Y, Z, and they unquestioningly accept it as gospel.
Well, the investors have to agree on a valuation, though.
But that's making shit up because a lot of the investors are VCs.
Yes, but the VCs have to
private equity
rationalize. They have to rationalize the valuation and
make shit up.
Get their percentage of stuff. Yeah, I mean,
rationalize meaning. We're banking tremendously on this stuff, so we need to float a large number.
The TAM. Blah blah blah.
It's all bullshit. Because if they use standard valuation methods, you wouldn't get those numbers.
No, you wouldn't. No,
you wouldn't get because it's negative. It's all negative. Negative income. There's no profit, no nothing. So how do you sit there and make the shit up and then come up with a massive?
But I mean, it's a private company, so it doesn't really matter what the value.
So what? It's still a business, right? Yeah, just there's no transparency is the only difference.
But it's a private company. Who cares what it's valued at? It's like, I don't know, like Bob's Hardware Shop. He owns it. You go to Shark Tank. They're like, I'm valued at $10 million.
It's private.
They're like, you're full of shit, you know. And it's like. Yeah. All right, but he's asking for money, so he has to make a rational evaluation of like, here's my sales year over year, here's my growth, blah blah blah.
Yeah, but it makes a lot more sense if you make an irrational, you put some irrational numbers out there. I mean, you guys have worked with VCs as well as
yes,
right?
Yeah.
How do they come up with the numbers?
Let's make this simple for our audience. Hey, sharks, I've come up with this new thingamabobber, and I want to give away 10% of my company for $100,000. And so if Mr. Wonderful or Mark Cuban or whoever decides to do that deal, what is the valuation of that company? It's $1 million.
10 times 100.
So that's how you get that valuation that we're talking about. And so, when Anthropic gets an extra $7 billion in exchange for some percentage, then they just do the math, and that's how you come up with
the valuation has to be based on their earnings and their sales and forecasts. Right?
There you go.
So they have to somehow show the hockey stick. That's why they call it a hockey stick, right? You get the blade, and the handle goes like this.
And you've explained exactly why most ventures and these types of deals fall flat on their face, or they're hydrated by investors, and the valuation is dictated by investor sentiment or
right. But VCs are counting on most of the
necessity
in their face
versus the fundamentals, which is business.
But they're only counting on 1 out of 10 to really be successful, so that they make.
That's right.
So
I'm going to have 9 failures, but number 10 is Facebook, and I knock it out of the park. Right? Yeah.
By the way, speaking of not knocking it out of the park, did you see OpenAI is now going to start their own kind of LinkedIn competitor platforms? Like this weird thing they announced. It's going to be like a job board thing for AI or OpenAI. OpenAI is going to be. I'm like, what?
It's because they heard Leonard complaining about LinkedIn sucking so bad now.
Maybe Leonard, you can move your LinkedIn platform.
Yeah.
I think it's because they need more data. So this is a way to capture more training data, is to get job stuff.
Clever girl.
But yeah, it's so weird though. Like how these AI companies, these foundation model companies, which is what they are, they just have foundation models with APIs wrapped around them. Like, how are they morphing to turn into real businesses? To your point, Leonard, they have to turn into real businesses with real revenue. So the foundation model business itself is kind of starting to commoditize. And so now they're layering more software stuff on top to either capture data or monetize their foundation models, rather than just licensing the foundation models to people like Microsoft or LinkedIn. They're competing with these platforms, and because they have to generate, ridiculous amounts of revenue to justify their valuation. So
like we always tell our audience, all you kids out there, make sure you listen to your Uncle Pete. Sam is doing something smart by creating a LinkedIn competitor, because they look over their shoulders at their buddy Elon, who's got Twitter X, which is just generating new human content continuously to train models. And so they're like, I need that. How do I get some of that? I'll build a LinkedIn copycat. Because that gives Elon an unfair advantage that he owns X, because tons of new human content is being created on X every minute. It's true. It's true. It's real.
I think his competitive advantage is that he has the highest quality data source for creating the best Tay. So Tay X.0.
Yes, no, they definitely cornered the market on that.
They've also mastered, recursive, regurgitation of AI generated crap. He still hasn't disclosed how many of the accounts are bot accounts, right? For all we know, most of the content on all of these platforms are not human generated. They're,
They could still be interesting to read, even if they're not human generated, just like watching humanoid robots down the track,
Exactly.
And you want
to see the
some
robot
more advice in your network. You want that to run your critical infrastructure.
So
No, I mean, no, I don't think any Fortune 500 is betting their business on Grok. Jesus Christ, I hope not.
Oh my God, come on, dude. Yeah. They'll do that until they experience catastrophe, and then they'll back off.
Well, yeah, then some shareholder will be like, why did that happen? It's like, oh, well, we used Grok.
Yeah, and then find a fall guy to fire and blame
The IT, just that IT plumber, they hired that plumber from the IT school.
plumber.
Or no, better yet, the chief AI officer.
There you go.
Yeah, that is a job you do not want. Chief AI officer.
But since in the words, when you think of terms like pivot and then just making up silliness, when you think about the bots on X creating content and thinking that's a negative thing, all of a pivot go, no, wait, it's synthetic data for AI. Because I know lots of companies that's all they're talking about is the next.
There is a role for synthetic. We probably don't have enough time to talk about synthetic data, but
We have to be careful about synthetic data, what we mean by it too.
Manufacturing and defect detection and stuff. So there's a very big role for that. I don't think what we're talking about is like synthetic tweets is not what we're talking about. No.
Or synthetic facts.
Or maybe they'll have synthetic job seekers on this synthetic OpenAI job platform.
That will, and then we'll use that at the government level and say unemployment's down to 1%.
There we are. Okay. That'll be the Truth Social job board.
Congratulations!
Right.
Yeah, and
we won. We solved unemployment.
Oh, geez. Yeah, no, we should have a whole episode on the synthetic thing when Debbie's on, because she looks at that stuff quite a bit. But hey, we should probably let in with this, but Stephanie's not on. But everyone, we have some big news related to Elevate Our Kids. It's no longer Elevate Our Kids. It's Elevate Communities. So we're making a pivot, and we have a new mission, and we encourage you to go and check it out. The website, I think, is www.elevatecommunities.org, right? Did we secure that?
I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. And so, we have the charity has a new mission, and it's really to elevate communities in time of crisis, and we're looking to channel a lot of the techno goodness that we talk about every week here on IoT Coffee Talk to helping communities be more resilient, to recover from disasters, and to basically have early warning systems so that they can be ready when dangers are imminent, and we can minimize loss of life, most importantly, right? But then also hopefully loss in property by helping communities leverage the leading edge of technologies that many of you out there are working on. And so this is a great opportunity to get involved in helping communities fortify themselves technically to be more resilient and become more capable in dealing with.
I think the website is still under construction, by the way. So just
okay.
I think you're right
on the website. So.
Yeah, but Stephanie will hopefully be back next week. We can do a big grand and spend the whole time talking about what we're doing, because it's a huge change, and it's a giant thing, and it's going to be a lot more on us. We're going from how we helped kids during COVID get connected, and now we're going to connect and use our own know-how around IoT and a lot of tech to help in a much bigger way. So it's going to be a pretty big thing for us. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Very, very, very cool.
We'll get some new merch.
Huh?
Need new
merch. We'll have new merch, and and it's the biggest purpose ever.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is.
It dovetails nicely with what Peter's doing with Edge AI Foundation.
There you go.
Yep. Because we're going to be tapping all of our partners and friends in this world, including Pete and a whole lot of other people to help us
Sounds
out
like we
with a
should
lot
do
of
an
this
Edge
stuff.
AI challenge. We should do an Edge AI challenge for.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's really exciting stuff.
Absolutely.
We hope you get involved. It's a great way to not only get visibility to your charity, but also to get involved in the development of these solutions and kits, right?
It's
ready-made
building solutions.
Yeah.
Your go bag when something goes wrong. So what are we doing? We're preparedness. We're going to be doing stuff in advance. We'll be doing stuff when, I mean, this, gosh, I know it always popped in my head. I've been slowly, miserably trying to write this book about sustainable development goals with all our IoT and digital stuff. But what are we seeing all around us? Fires, flood, drought, just so many things.
Pestilence.
People need help. And it's like, what are we good at? What are we specifically good at? We're not going to be delivering food. There's other people doing that, but there's little niches that we're really good at. And we're going to zero in on that kind of stuff. It's exciting stuff for sure. Helping a lot of people.
Yeah. So, hey, everyone, really appreciate you listening this far. If you made it, you guys are champs. And next time we will lead in with this new pivot that we have with Elevate Our Kids toward elevate communities. And so, anyway, we talked about a lot of stuff. So if you got up to this point, you probably heard all of it. So I'm not going to recount everything for you, but we'll see you next week here at www.iotcoffeetalk.com. And also make sure to check out the Substack. We have a Substack.
Yeah,
right.
That's right. iotcoffeetalk.substack.com.
Yeah, and check out.
Yeah, I noticed Andreessen Horowitz just moved to Substack yesterday.
Wow,
and I know you moved when Next Curve moved to Substack, right?
Yeah, but I got suspended. I don't know why.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, I'm working it out with them because their platform's actually pretty buggy. I made a couple of submissions that errored out on their platform, and I think they interpreted those repeated requests for the same content as like spam or some crap like that. So I'm working it out with them. It's not a mature platform yet. But anyway,
it sounds like we're getting a lot of attention. So
I like it.
I think they're banning you because they heard you were already bad-mouthing LinkedIn, and they figured you were going to come after them next.
Yeah, I was going to bring them more readers. Yeah. And more users. Oh, horrible. Okay, guys. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Rob.
Adios.
Yeah, and welcome to Texas. Welcome to California.
Right. That's right. We'll do it in California right now.